Today for Fiction Friday, we're continuing Chapter 5 in our ongoing book, Lad, a Dog by Albert Payson Terhune. Lad is a contestant in a big dog show in New York City, but when his category is called, the judge just sends him to the side of the ring, not judging him with the others at all. Lad's mistress is very upset by this, and Lad is too. Let's see what happens next to our dear friend, okay? As always, the link to the ebook is in the description below if you want to read along. Chapter 5, Part 5, For a Bit of Ribbon. Lad seemed to sense her sorrow, for as he stood beside her, head and tail low, he whined softly and licked her hand as if in encouragement. She ran her fingers along his silky head. Then, to keep from crying, she watched the other contestants. No longer were these parading. One at a time, and then in twos, the judge was standing them on the platform. He looked at their teeth. He pressed their heads between his hands. He heft their hips. He ran his fingers through their coats. He pressed his palm upward against their underbodies. He subjected them to a score of such annoyances, but he did it all with a quick and sure touch that not even the crankiest of them could resent. Then he stepped back and studied the quartet. After that, he seemed to remember Lad's presence, and, as though by way of earning his fee, he slouched across the ring to where the forlorn mistress was petting her dear disgraced dog. Lazily, perfunctorily, the judge ran his hand over Lad, with absolutely none of the thoroughness that had marked his inspection of the other dogs. Apparently there was no need to look for the finer points in a disqualified collie. The sketchy examination did not last 3 seconds. At its end, the judge jotted down a number on a pad he held. Then he laid one hand heavily on Lad's head and curtly thrust out his other hand at the mistress. "Can I take him away now?" she asked, still stroking Lad's fur. "Yes," rasped the judge, "and take this along with him." In his outstretched hand fluttered a little bunch of silk, dark blue, with gold lettering on it. The blue ribbon! First prize in the novice class! And this grouchy little judge was awarding it to Lad. The mistress looked very hard at the bit of blue and gold in her fingers. She saw it through a queer mist. Then, as she stooped to fasten it to Lad's collar, she furtively kissed the tiny white spot on top of his head. "It's something like the bar sinister victory after all," she exclaimed joyously, as she rejoined the delighted master at the ring gate. "But oh, it was terrible for a minute or two, wasn't it?" Now, Angus McGilliard, Esquire, had a knowledge of collies such as is granted to few men, and this very fact made him a wretchedly bad dog show judge, as the Kennel Club, which, on the strength of his fame, had engaged his services for the single occasion, speedily learned. The greatest lawyer makes often the worst judge. Legal annals prove this, and the same thing applies to dog experts. They are sane rather than judicial. McGilliard had scant patience with the ultra-modern, inbred, and greyhound-like collies, which had so utterly departed from their ancestral standards. At one glimpse he had recognized Lad as a dog after his own heart, a dog that brought back to him the mirk and magic of the Highland moors. He had noted the deep chest, the mighty forequarters, the tiny white paws, the incredible wealth of outer and undercoat, the brush, the grand head, and the soul in the eyes. This was such a dog as McGilliard's shepherd ancestors had admitted as an honored equal at hearth and board. Such a dog, for brain and brawn and beauty, as a Highland master would no sooner sell than he would sell his own child. McGilliard, therefore, had waved Lad aside while he judged the lesser dogs of his class, lest he be tempted to look too much at Lad and too little at them, and he rejoiced, to the last, to give honor where all honor was due. Through dreary hours that day, Lad lay disconsolate in his cell, nose between paws, while the stream of visitors flowed sluggishly past him. His memory of the guest law prevented him from showing his teeth when some of these passing humans paused in front of the compartment to pat him or to consult his number in their catalogues. But he accorded not so much as one look, to say nothing of a handshake, to any of them. A single drop of happiness was in his sorrow cup. He had, seemingly, done something that made both the master and the mistress very, very proud of him. He did not know just why they should be, for he had done nothing clever. In fact, he had been at his dullest. But they were proud of him, undeniably proud, and this made him glad through all his black despondency. Even the collie man seemed to regard him with more approval than before. Not that Lad cared at all. And 2 or 3 exhibitors came over for a special look at him. From one of these exhibitors, the mistress learned of a dog show rule that was wholly new to her. She was told that the winning dog of each and every class was obliged to return later to the ring to compete in what was known as the winner's class, a contest whose entrance included every class victor from novice to open. Briefly, this special competition was to determine which class winner was the best collie in the whole list of winners, and as such, entitled to a certain number of points toward a championship. There were 8 of these winners. 1 or 2 such world-famed champions as Grey Mist and Southport Sample were in the show for exhibition only, but the pick of the remaining leaders must compete in the winner's class, Sunnybank Lad among them. The master's heart sank at the news. "I'm sorry," he said. "You see, it's one thing to win as a novice against a bunch of untried dogs, and quite another to compete against the best dogs in the show. I wish we could get out of it." "Never mind," answered the mistress. "Laddie has won his ribbon. They can't take that away from him. There's a silver cup for the winner's class, though. I wish there had been one for the novices." "Aw, friends, Lad won his class in the big fancy dog show. How wonderful is that? I just love that the judge saw him for the special true dog he is, and not some fancy-smancy dog that was bred just for dog shows. I can't wait to find out what happens next for the winner's competition. But we'll have to wait until next Fiction Friday for that story. But be winners like Lad, and be sure to come back and visit me for my next Music Monday song, and on Wednesday for the next article in our Safari Wiki series. Thanks for hanging out with me today.